Oh, yes, everybody, welcome into another exciting episode of the Sports Scene. I'm your host, as always, David Wood. And joining us here in just a little bit is the ever so effervescent one himself, Donnie Wood. He will be joining us just in a little bit. Had a little family minor emergency, and he will be joining us here in just a few. Hope you enjoyed the intro video, and do stay tuned to the end of this broadcast because we're going to have another video. And what we're doing is we're just jambalaying a bunch of photos and a bunch of things that were, you know, part of building the sports scene. And of course, that has a lot to do with the Toller Rattlers and Lady Rattlers in Toller, Texas, the athletic program there. But for years, me and Donnie, we did sports for Granbury. And of course, we've always been sports enthusiast and everything, so to speak. And of course, we had a long time running thing with a couple of radio stations, Granbury TV and the likes. But you all know us as a bunch of knuckleheads here in Granbury that likes to talk sports, and that's what we're going to do tonight. Of course, national championship just winding up. Congratulations to Ohio State. Of course, in my opinion, the national championship was played a couple of weeks ago whenever they defeated the Texas Longhorns. But don't mention that to Donnie when he comes on. He's still a little sensitive about it, and we don't want to upset him any more than what he already is, okay? So what I'm going to do, Donnie is trailing just a little bit, and so to make sure that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves, because we definitely want Donnie's input. You want the correct input, and then you want Donnie's input. And so Donnie will be along with us here in just a little bit. Until then, I want to say thank you to a whole bunch of people, and that's our sponsors, because we say it all the time, without them, there is no us. But not only that, but they're a part of our community. And folks, when you think about something that you might need, some kind of goods or services, you think about these folks, because these are the ones that give it right back into the community in which you live and everything. So we fully believe that. So I'm going to go for just a little while for a small commercial break. When Donnie comes back on, I'm going to replay that video again because I want him to see it. And then, of course, I've got a different one, similar but different one at the end of the show. And, of course, we got two great lists. We're going to list the top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Your top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Doesn't have to be, there's no wrong list here. And of course, we want you guys to play along. You can always message us there on Facebook or on our YouTube page. And folks, you want to go to our YouTube page, subscribe and like that channel for sure. And then share it with your friends and tell them to share and like that page as well. Subscribe and like. Okay. Until I meet in just a few minutes, we're going to step away for some great messages for some great businesses in our area.
The Warehouse on 377 is the place to go when you want to look your very Toller best. They offer graphic tees and custom graphic apparel, and also offer dry cleaning laundry services with next day turnaround. Get your custom Toller spirit wear or design your own look. The Warehouse on 377 is the one-stop shop for custom apparel and embroidery. With fast turnaround times, no minimums, and volume price breaks. This Toller family-owned and operated business will get you looking your very best. That's The Warehouse on 377. Proud Rattler supporter.
The Shops of Toller in historic downtown district is more than an apparel and more store. It's a hometown mercantile you will love with an amazing selection of local vendors. There's something for everyone. Stop in the downtown 377 location or check out the great website at theshopsoftoller.com. The Shops of Toller, your apparel and more store. Proud Rattler supporter.
Tolar Rattlers always look good and protect their yard. And you can too with an awesome fence around your yard or business. And the place to go is S&S Fencing in Granbury, Texas. In business in the area since 1966, they have the experience you can trust. Cedar Custom or Ornamental, you will get the very best with S&S Fencing. Check them out on Facebook or call today at 817-578-1823. That's S&S Fencing, proud Rattler supporter. Clayton Homes of Burleson is committed to helping you and your family find the manufactured home of your dreams. Come tour our fully furnished display models to see available features and floor plans. Have you dreamed of owning a home that you can customize to fit your style? Our friendly team members are experts in showing you our homes that fit your needs and your budget. We are proud to be able to offer new, energy, smart zero homes that can save you even more money in the high-quality Clayton-built home. Stop by our home center to start your home buying journey today. Conveniently located at 3275 South Burleson Boulevard, that is I-35 West at exit 30, or visit our website at ClaytonHomesBurleson.com. Clayton Homes of Burleson, proud Rattler supporter.
Toller Nutrition, Toller Shake and Bake. More than a deli, health food store, and salad bar, it's a local Toller business ran by Annabelle and Jeremy Ballou. They feature fresh food, knowledgeable staff, and great selection. Everyone loves their shakes and teas and offer breakfast and lunch. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., located in downtown Toller. The Balloos, Toller Nutrition, Shake and Bake, are proud Rattler supporters. Toller Nutrition, Toller Shake and Bake. All right, folks, welcome back to the sports scene. I think we've got little Donnie on. Let's see if I can get him here. Hey, Donnie, you there?
I'm here, man.
All right. I just promised everybody I'd play the intro video once you came back on, just because you missed it. I worked so hard on it for you, and just told them that we've got now an intro video and an outro video. And I'm going to be changing it up because, man, I've got even more stuff to put on there and don't want to make them too long. But I'm going to play these at the beginning of every sports scene that we do from here on out, just to kind of memorialize some of the things that the old sports scene's been through. So we're going to start with this intro video, and we'll be right back right after this one plays. Wow. I tell you what, if you like that one, Donnie, you're going to really like the outro video. Everybody stick around after the show is over. Make sure that you watch that. Been working on it and everything. There's just so many photos, Donnie, and so many things that have transpired, not just with the Rattler program, but also with the sports scene. You know, we cover a lot more sports than just, you know, your local high school stuff. We got stuff all over the place, and we've been doing this for a long time.
Been doing it a while. Yeah, matter of fact, we got I think it was a reminder of the something came up. I don't know if it was on Facebook or whatever came through where we did that first episode of the sports scene on Granbury TV.
Yeah, I put that on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, man, I was quite a bit skinnier and less gray.
Yeah, I had my hair was a lot darker.
Yeah, we were both skinnier. Man, we looked better, didn't we? The heck happened?
I don't know. I think we look more distinguished nowadays, you know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Educated a little bit and everything. So Of course, this is January 22nd, and it's been about a month since we've done a sports scene, and so we're going to start kicking these things back up and hitting it hard and heavy. A lot of things have transpired since we last met, and of course, we're going to start it off with the NFL, Donnie, because I'm telling you what, a lot of good things going on in the NFL. We're at the AFC and NFC championships.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a football fan, you've last few weeks have been a lot of fun, a lot of good football action between the NFL, obviously, and college. But yeah, NFL, it's the AFC is the kind of the same two teams that's been there for a while, it seems like, and then one new team that hadn't made it to the NFC championships in, I think, since '92 or something. I mean, it's been a long time, or way back in the '90s. Washington Commanders in there with Philadelphia, and that's my worst case scenario happened. I mean, now I'm like, okay, can both of these teams lose?
Well, I remember way back. I remember way back whenever we were having our preview session, and I said that the Commanders would come in second place in our division, and you said, "There ain't no way, you're crazy, man." And I was like, "No, I'm telling you, they're going to be good under Dan Quinn," and they sure did do it. And they'll be taking on Philadelphia this weekend, and for a chance to go to the big dance and everything. So, hey, man, do you think Cowboys regret letting Dan Quinn get out of the building?
Yeah, especially now since they can't find a coach. It's like, well, they had a head coach right there. They would have waited. I think they should have just hired him right then and let McCarthy go, and they would have only had 1 year under contract that they would have paid him. It's not like Jerry Jones don't have the money to pay that extra money.
Yeah.
And now, they're who knows what they're going to do. And from what far as the one that's kind of everybody's starting to think that he might be the one, I'm not real excited about.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it either. You're talking about Neon Deion Sanders.
No.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about apparently Brian Schottenheimer is kind of got in the lead. He got a second interview. So he's never been a head coach. I know he's been offensive coordinator for a lot of years, and his dad was a great coach, but it don't seem like a whole lot of people is excited about that choice.
Well, I'm more excited about that than Neon Deion, because if they were going to go that route and manipulate the draft so they could pick his sons and all this other stuff, I'm totally out on that. To me, that's professional sports just really, really jicking it up, so to speak. And, I always had a problem with Neon Deion whenever he was a player. I just don't think I could handle him every day as a coach for the Cowboys. I think I'd have to go with my other team,
I think I probably wouldn't watch the press conferences that much, but I think Deion would have the respect of the players. He's been there, done that. I know he's flamboyant and everything, but, he's one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. And I think that holds a lot of water for players, especially the professional players nowadays. It helps to have that kind of guy. And he doesn't really put up with a whole lot. Obviously they wouldn't go and manipulate the draft and go and draft his son and all that stuff. They wouldn't be able to do that, but
oh yeah, they were talking about trading Dak and a bunch of picks to get Deion to get Shredder, and then Shiloh, or whatever his name is, thinking about getting him in like the third or fourth round or stuff. To me, that's just, you wouldn't pick them, and you have no need to pick a quarterback. You have a quarterback on your roster. You have two of them, actually.
Well, I mean, Shedeur Sanders is, the second best quarterback in the draft, and he'll go in the top 5, I would imagine. If you didn't have a quarterback under contract for 3 more years, that wouldn't be a bad idea to do, honestly. But I don't think that's a thing that they would be doing if Deion wanted to be the coach and they asked him to be the coach. That's not something that he would be demanding to do. I think that's a lot of basically press talking, fake news stuff.
Well, I thought I heard him say it.
No, he didn't say it.
He didn't?
No.
Oh, that was fake news?
Fake news.
Fake news. Watching CNN.
Yes, it probably came from a CNN reporter or
Yeah.
MSNBC.
ESPN, CNN.
Might have
version.
been the Joy Reid of broadcasting football.
Oh, no. Look out. Look out. We got two fantastic lists tonight, guys. We've got top 5 sitcoms of all time. I love me some sitcoms because movie watching and TV watching, it's a sport. And then, of course, the top 5 NFL quarterbacks, your top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Yeah, we ain't taking no what percentage passing they are, what kind of yardage they've thrown up, or what team they play on, and how successful that team's been. What you think your top 5 if you had to pick 5 quarterbacks, which 5 would you pick?
The current.
There's a couple that's not going to make my list, Donnie Wood, and I don't care if they threw for 60 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I ain't going with some of them fools. It just ain't happening.
So it's the top 5 current NFL quarterbacks and your favorite ones. Obviously, my list will be better because I know one quarterback that's not going to be on your list, which it would be insane to not include. But we'll get there.
I'm not putting him on there. No way. Okay, so we got to get to it. NFL. We were talking NFL. So we got to do predictions, and let's do them right now because no better time than the present. Now, of course, the college football national championship was played a couple of weeks ago. You had the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Texas Longhorns, and the Texas Longhorns just barely lost that game. And Ohio State is your national champions.
Well, you missed one game there, but that's okay.
What?
You're right. That was for real the best 2 teams, but
that was the national championship.
No, that wasn't. It happened a couple of days ago with Ohio State and Notre Dame.
I thought they just played that just to play an extra game. They played the JV team Notre Dame and beat them.
No, but going back to that Texas Ohio State game, man, that was a heartbreaker, and I blame the coach on that one for the play calling and
dumbest play calling ever.
When you're first down and goal at the 1 yard line, the calls were just not good, and it's a shame because I would have loved. I mean, obviously they were just going to tie the game, but and get into overtime, and you don't know what would have happened. I mean, you didn't give your team a chance. The second down and the pitch out was the worst call you could have done against that defense. Just wasn't going to happen. I would have personally put in Arch Manning, let him quarterback sneak 4 times in a row if it had to.
What I wanted to see was him put Arch Manning in the game, and then have him back there so that the defense has got to think, okay, are they going to hand off, or is it going to go to the up back, the tailback, or is Arch going to keep it and go around the corner? I mean, there's so much stuff that could have went on, and of course, when they were in that offensive set down by the goal line, they knew it was going to a running back. They knew Ewers wasn't going to run it. So I think, and they were on like the half-yard line, Donnie, and they could have got in if they would have just kept running the ball up the middle. They would have eventually got in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just was bad calling, and again, I thought, I mean, the coach, he's a good coach, and I just think at times this season he was too predictable for one, and also just too conservative on some of the calls that he kept some of these games closer that they really didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Our defense played outstanding. Our defense played well enough to win that game against Ohio State, because Ohio State's that's a great offense. You saw it against Notre Dame. I mean, they got 2 running backs. They're going to be NFL pros, probably in drafted at least both of them by the 2nd round. So and the quarterback, he's a good quarterback. He's experienced. He transferred from Kansas State, which he was good there. And they had 2 receivers that are going to be pro receivers. I mean, they had pros up and down, kind of like Texas, but we just didn't do enough on the offense. I would have liked seeing Manning in there a little bit more, and use him. Obviously, Ewers did a great job. I think he gets he don't get a lot of credit just because who his backup is. A lot of people think, well, we could have done better with Manning.
Yeah.
But if you look at Ewers' record as a Texas Longhorn, he's brought them back into the top tier of the teams.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you can't say. I mean, I think he had a great career, and I hope he does well in the NFL. He's going to have to get a little bit better with his throws, especially not so soft on the throws, and he's going to have to get a little bit more mobile because we just know that pocket passers. I mean, yeah, back in Aikman's day, yeah, you would love them, but nowadays you got to have a little bit of ability to run a little bit.
You got to have that
sometimes.
threat. You got to have that threat. You got to have that threat. But that's definitely what you got to have. All right, it's time. It's time to predict who's going to win this week's game. Now, all of you bettors out there, you want to write this down. Donnie said that he'll double your bet if you take the picks that he takes. He'll double the bet for you, so you can't lose right there. Okay, here we go. The first game is going to be the AFC game. Let's do that one, Donnie. You got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs and the referees.
Oh man, I love you haters, man. Everybody thinks that the refs are for Kansas City, and it's just because Kansas City wins. I see it all the time, but you know what? You kind of. I know most of America is pulling for Buffalo just because they don't want to see Kansas City in there again, and Buffalo. It's funny to think that they're one of the 10 teams that have not won a Super Bowl yet, even though they've been there so close, win all those times with Jim Kelly. And they got a good team. But I give me my Kansas City Chiefs, my second favorite team.
Donnie's going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are my second favorite team, Donnie, and everything. Third favorite team. I'm sorry. Cowboys, Dolphins. Of course, Cowboys could lose number one seeding, and we'll talk about that in my fandomhood. They could lose it this year, depending on what they do. So the Bills and the Chiefs. Donnie, when you look at this game, when you look at the AFC and the NFC Championship, I'm going to go with the team that has the best quarterback on both of these. And so I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Because right now, Josh Allen is playing lights out. He's playing out of his mind, and he's playing a lot better than Patrick Mahomes is. I think Mahomes hasn't been healthy all year. He's been a little out of sort and a little out of touch with it. Plus, I don't believe that they've got the team that they've had the last couple of years that they've won these Super Bowls. They've got pieces of it, but some of it's a little wore out, and some of it's just not executing properly. You look at Josh Allen, Donnie, listen to this. 101.4 passer rating, a 77.4 QBR, which is the first. It's the best in the NFL. The performance grade is a 92.5. 92.5. He finished the season with 3,700 passing yards, more than 3,700 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, a career low 6 interceptions, while adding 531 yards and 12 touchdowns on the ground. Yes, he's a dual threat, Donnie. 6'5", 237 pounds. He uses that big body frame to get in the end zone on the running game, a lot different from what some of those other running quarterbacks do, or other those running backs that are playing quarterbacks do. He's very, very explosive with that big arm. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, Donnie. They will beat the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a good pick. I mean, Buffalo, I think, is one of the best teams going right now, and I just until you beat them, I just can't pick against them. I know they haven't had the greatest of seasons, even though they lost 2 games all year. Was it 2? But I know they've been just doing just enough, on a lot of these games that they've been winning in Kansas City. And Patrick has not been, playing as well. They don't have as many weapons. His wide receiver core is just not that great. I mean, besides Kelsey, and then you're counting on a rookie Worthy to do a lot too. And the running backs, not that great. The defense has carried them a lot this season. But when you have Mahomes and you got Reed on the sideline, the best coach in the league, I just can't pick against them at home. It could be it'll be a close game. I guarantee you that. And I just think Kansas City it just will just do enough to win the game, man.
All right. Well, so we differ on that one. I'll bet you we differ on this one because your first favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, are taking on the Washington Commanders. And Donnie, I got to go with the top team that has the best quarterback. And the best quarterback on that field this weekend is going to belong to the Washington Commanders. I said it. The Washington Commanders are going to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. Jaden Daniels, Donnie. Jaden Daniels. Okay. Now, I think he's going to be offensive rookie of the year. Has to be offensive rookie of the year. Going into that team and doing what he's done, he will definitely be the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. He has helped them with wins over Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay was a solid little team, boy, I'm telling you. And then the Detroit Lions, they made Man Campbell cry. You know how hard it is to make Man Campbell cry, Donnie?
It's a lot. It's hard, right?
It's hard. It's really hard. And it's all due to him. I mean, he really has it. Listen to this. Daniels has had 3 games during his rookie season where the Commanders neither turned the ball over nor punted. By comparison, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Mahomes have done that twice combined. So, I mean, come on now. Now he is he's got that's impacted a lot by Dan Quinn being very, very aggressive in fourth down situations where you'll see him allow him to bootleg and have an RPO option and stuff of that nature, stuff that I wished the Cowboys was able to do with Dak, but Dak shattered that ankle, and there's no way he's ever going to be mobile again. And so we lost that on our side. But I digress. He has converted, get this, a league high 82.14% of his fourth downs. 82%, Donnie, of going for it on fourth downs. Jaden Daniels has converted, okay? He has completed 69% of his passes for 3,500 yards, over 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions as a rookie. This guy's going to be good for a long, long time, Donnie. Pick of the draft, I think, goes to the Commanders, and the Commanders will be your NFC champions. And I'll let you pick your Philadelphia Eagles right now.
You know, this one's hard for me. I like I said, I hope they both lose. And it's like, who do I hate less, basically? And obviously, Philadelphia is the team I've been disliking more than any team, and mainly because Washington really hasn't been relevant for a long time, and you knew you were going to beat them and whatnot. It's hard for me to. I'm not going to root for either one of them, but they're playing at Philadelphia, so that's going to be hard. They got a really good defense. Barkley has had just a stupid season. He'll probably be the difference maker in this game. Jalen Hurts is just. I don't think he's that great, and I think he hurts you really. He doesn't do much as a quarterback, really. If you look at it, you're right. Jaden Daniels is just playing great. It's unbelievable that he's a rookie. And every time I count them out, I mean, they were fighting to get into the playoffs. They barely beat the Cowboys in that last game of the season, or the second to the last game of the season. They went into overtime. There's another team that's just done enough to win games. It's hard. I want to pick the Commanders, mainly because of Jaden Daniels, but I just can't. I think Philadelphia, unfortunately, is going to win this game with Barkley and that defense.
So Donnie has Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders. We want to know what y'all think. Y'all can always comment there on Facebook or on the YouTube page and let us know. We'll put them out here on the page if you comment which ones you take and everything. But I'll tell you, Donnie, that's going to be fun because we have different teams. That's great out of all 4 of them. Now, we're not going to pick Super Bowl winner until our next show, and then we'll have a show before the Super Bowl, and we'll be able to get that out to you masses. But it's going to be different because we picked different teams to win it. So let us know also who you're rooting for if you're watching along on those pages. All right, let's get to it, Donnie. One last thing to talk about. You know, the Cowboys have some work to do. They got to get a coach, and then they got to look at their free agent system. And, you know, last year, Donnie, it was the Cowboys had very, very little interest in free agency and very, very little activity in free agency. They did get Hendricks, which was a great pickup. Kendricks, which was a great pickup, I think. And he was a difference maker on defense, especially with Lawrence falling out of the league with an injury. I've got the list of the Cowboy unrestricted free agents, Donnie. Listen to this. Unrestricted free agents, 20. This is probably one of the most they've ever had in one season. So this is a great time to get rid of a lot of dead weight, reorganize and restructure a lot of contracts. You know, Brandon Cooks cost us over $19 million last year on our cap. This year, his market value is under $6 million. Do you want to bring him back or do you want to get rid of him? Well, my answer is I want to get rid of him because I've got a player that the Cowboys need to aggressively go over. I'll talk about that in a minute. A couple of players that I don't think I want to see back. Zach Martin. I don't want to see him back with the Cowboys next year. He's going to cost you too much. He's at the twilight of his career at 34 years of age. Just don't think you need him. DeMarcus Lawrence, same thing. Twilight of his career, coming off the injury, too much money. Trey Lance, get rid of him. We've already proven that we don't need him. If you're going to pay a quarterback to be a backup, Cooper Rush has earned that job, don't you think, Donnie? He has totally earned that job. Get you a young quarterback towards the middle or the end of the draft this year, develop him and see if he pans out. You know, I've heard of some 6th-round draft picks and some free agent quarterbacks that wind up being Hall of Famers. So it can be done. I think you just need to cut your losses with Trey Lance. He's going to cost you too much money.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need that. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback, and he can maybe go to a different place and maybe try to fight for a backup quarterback position. But yeah, I'd rather draft a 6th-round quarterback and see what you can do with that.
Those 4 contracts, Donnie, Lance was 8.5, Lawrence 13.3, Martin 18.4, and Cooks 19.8. You look at those contracts and you think to yourself, man, you're with those guys, with those 4, you've created some room. Okay, and I'll tell you what you can use with that room. Some free agents that I think we should get back. Brian Anger, the punter. I think you ought to bring him back on the cheap because that's all he's going to cost you. Eric Kendricks, Jordan Lewis. I think this year he played his way into being brought back. Cooper Rush. I think we need to bring him back unless it's just ridiculous money. If it gets to ridiculous money, somebody out there wants a good quarterback like him and they decide to go after him, let him go and develop your own. Find some players that'll do good. Chuma in Idoga, is that how you pronounce it? Idoga, the tackle.
Close
I think
enough.
you bring him back. Asi Agmazuwada, the defensive tackle that did a lot of good things. I think you want to bring him back. Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson, and Amani Ogamorari. He was the cornerback that the Cowboys got late in the season. I think that guy, on a light contract, you can bring back. A couple of key names I think we ought to distance ourselves from, Donnie, is Rico Dabble. Now, Rico played really good this season, rushed for a lot of yards and did some really good things. But Rico Dabble, if you look at it, he's probably going to get a contract being an unrestricted free agent somewhere close to around the range that Pollard got. Pollard got a $7 million deal with Tennessee last year. I don't think you want to go that high. There is a running back I think I would go a little bit higher than for running back. Now, you got to remember, too, Rico Dabble is 27 years of age. Najee Harris is an unrestricted free agent, Pittsburgh running back. He's 26, so he's younger. He was on a 3-year. His market value is 3 years, $27.5 million, which equates to about $9 million per year. That's somebody I might want to look at. J.K. Dobbins. He's a banging running back. He's also got a lot of quickness. He's also 26 years of age. You can get him for around about $7.3 million a year. I would bring either one of those or maybe even both of them on a 3-year deal, and you've got your running game sewed up. But the big signing that I think the Cowboys ought to try to invest in is T. Higgins, Donnie. T. Higgins is estimated to go for 4 years at $100 million. That's $25.1 million. But if you're cutting all that dead weight that you had, the 19 and the 18 and the 13 and the 8, you've got some room to play with on your contract. T. Higgins would immediately step in as a key threat at number 2 wide receiver, give you some size there too, a lot bigger than that Brandon Cooks was, and would complement CeeDee Lamb, and you would be allowed to do some other different things with that combination. Stephon Diggs is also going to be an unrestricted free agent this season. He's 31 though, but you could get him on the cheap for like about $1 million. For like $13.5 million on a 1-year contract. That's what his market value is estimated to be. The other big signing I want to see him do, I want to see him go after Cam Robinson, Donnie. Cam Robinson is an offensive tackle. He played for, I believe it was Minnesota this last year. But Cam Robinson has always been a great offensive lineman, and he's only 29 years of age. That's young for some of these offensive linemen. You can get him for about 3 year 42. That's about 14 a year. Again, you're not overspending like you were with Cooks, Martin, Lawrence, and Lance.
Yeah, I think you would have a decent chance of doing that over trying to get T. Higgins. There is no way you're going to get T. Higgins. There's too much money for a second receiver, 1A basically. They just don't. They wouldn't be able to make that work.
What would that do to you? I think they could contract wise because they're getting rid of some of these other dead weights that they had. That's falling off that you don't have to pay for. If they paid that kind of money for those jugheads, they'll be able to bring somebody like Higgins on and really, really infuse that offense. And with Dak coming back and the limited mobility that Dak has, you're going to want, number one, a strong running game, and you're going to want a strong option at wide receiver. And if CD is doubled and triple teamed every game because we've got no depth, you're really going to mess out.
I mean, yeah, and obviously you would love to have T. Higgins, but I'm just saying that's too much money, too many years, too much money.
Would you take Diggs? Would you take Diggs on the cheap on a 1-year contract, $13 million?
Yeah, you might be able to do that.
And then you could sign Cooks back. His market value, they've got him estimated at hang on, I wrote that down, under $6 million. So if you bring him back on a cheap, if he'll take a lesser contract just to stick around, then you got Cooks and Diggs. I'd be okay with that.
Well, I think it really kind of all depends on what they're going to do in the draft, right? You know, if they end up going wide receiver there in the first round, which they could, you're probably going to go the cheaper route and maybe bring back Cooks for another year. Get you a serviceable guy that's been in the league for a while, like a Cooks or a Diggs or whatever. That's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and have you could probably get you might get lucky and get a really good wide receiver in the second round if things fall right. But that's what I'm hoping happens, honestly. But if you do that, I think you got your second wide receiver for the future behind CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. I agree. It could be either way. I just wanted to bring that up just so people can have food for thought, because I believe free agency right now, we really need to be thinking free agency from now till the draft and really, really trying to help our team. The early bird gets the worm, and we learned that on this coaching thing. We lost opportunity to get some good coaches early on, and I hope that the front office is thinking about that and not putting all their eggs in that coach. All right, let's move on. Spring training starts in February, Donnie. Baseball season is right around the corner. Oh, I can feel it. Can you feel it?
I can feel it. Yes.
Feel it.
Thank goodness.
Oh my God, the Texas Rangers are going to look really good. They've got a healthy Jacob DeGrom. I love all the interviews that I've seen, and him saying that he's coming back with a fervor and that he's gonna pitch all season long. He says he's not going to have any rehab, any problems. He's going to come right out and pitching strong. He's going to pitch all season long. I hope he's right. Valdi back in the fold. We were worried about that as we left baseball season last year, but he's there. Tyler Mahaly. Mahaly came in towards the end part of the season last season and definitely showed that he's still got some stuff going on, and I think he'll be fresh. John Gray had a good second half of the season last year. Dunning is going to go to the bullpen, Donnie, and help solidify in the long relief role in that purview. We did get Chris Martin back, which I think there's a lot of tread left on those tires. They're going to be looking at some of their youngsters like Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter and Cody Bradford. They're going to hope. You remember Cody Bradford, Donnie, was pitching lights out till he got hurt. Him and Gray both.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pitching they've really totally redid their bullpen. You see all the guys they signed, and most of them are veteran guys. And
Yeah,
the only thing they haven't signed is a closer. So that's the only one area that I'm kind of concerned with right now. But beyond that, the bullpen is going to be really good because they got a lot of guys, and they already had some guys that are coming back, right? So there's going to be a lot of competition. So if they can fill that closer role, then that bullpen is going to be, I predict, one of the best bullpens in the league. And obviously you see the really strong starting pitchers that we got. So it's going to be interesting. And if some of the guys come back on the offensive side and have, a year like they had 2 years ago, the season before when we went to the World Series and won it, man, Texas could get right back in there and be a threat to go back to the World Series.
They sure can. Jonah Heim slated to be coming back as your starting catcher. They did get that. How do you pronounce his last name, Donnie? Kyle Higazoka?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, he's a decent guy. I've read up a lot on him, and that's going to be good. So that on the off days when Heim does rest, you got a decent catcher that's going to come back and not hurt you behind the dish, and defensively and offensively is going to be able to do some things there. We did lose due to free agency and everything. Our first baseman, he is no longer with the team.
We traded him.
Huh?
We traded him.
Low, yeah, got rid of him. Jake Berger and Ezekiel Duran are slated to be in that spot, but you could see somebody else moving over there and taking some time during spring training and trying to learn that position.
You could. I think, man, I'm really excited about what they've done in the offseason, honestly. I know you're going to get to another guy that I really like, that the pick they got. I think if he could be a big difference maker. He's a energy guy. He's fun to watch. I think he's just really I think he's made to be a Texas Ranger, and I'm talking about Jock Peterson.
Yeah. Who?
Jock Peterson.
Yeah, Jock Peterson. Yeah. Oh, definitely. We got him, and I think that's going to be a big thing. Marcus Simeon, Josh Smith that slated the depth chart for second base. We know those guys are consummate professionals. Boy, what a job Josh Smith did filling in for the injured third baseman, Josh Young. And Josh Young will be back this year, Donnie, and I'm really excited about that. And, of course, Ezekiel can play over there. Jake Berger can also play at third. So you've got some depth there at third base. You've got a lot of players that can move around quite well on that infield. Josh Smith is slated to be your shortstop. You've got Ezekiel Duran, Jonathan Ornelas, and Corey Seager all slotted in there. Of course, Corey Seager will win that job all day long, third on Sunday. I said it wrong. Josh Smith is a backup shortstop. Okay. Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, and, of course, Adolis Garcia. They're your top runners in the outfield. However, Tavares is still with the team. I can't believe we didn't trade him, Donnie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't either. I thought that he'd be a good piece to, and he still might be. You know, maybe you get do a closer pick or something, but because you're going to have Evan Carter in there, and that leaves Travarius out there, being your fourth or fifth outfielder, and I think he's a good piece for a trade. And same thing with Josh Smith. I think Josh Smith showed that he can be an everyday player, but when you got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien there, there's just not a place for him. And
Josh Young, unless he moves over to first base, Donnie, I really don't see a whole lot. I mean, I see him filling in holes when we need people in, and you don't have that. You have a fall off, but not that big. I mean, because Josh Smith was a big part of the offense last year. And of course, you mentioned our DH, Jock Peterson. Now, didn't Jock play some first base, Donnie?
I think he's mainly played in the outfield, mainly. So he's more of a DH. He's not a real good fielder at this time in his career.
If you look at it, the Rangers are slated to have they can have a really good defensive and offensive team this season. I'm really jacked up for it. I cannot wait for this. I call it the rebound season after the hangover of winning the World Series last year before last. So everybody get ready for it. They're going to start spring training next month, February, right around the corner.
And you still got the best coach in the league coming back.
Still got the best coach in the league coming back. Old Boach. Okay. Basketball, Donnie, let's get on to it real quick. The Dallas Mavericks not doing too well. They're in 7th place in the Western Conference right now with an overall record of 23-20. They lost last night. They also lost big on the court. They today announced that Derek Lively, the center, will miss the next 2 to 3 months after he sustained a small fracture in his foot. Now, he has been out of the lineup since January 14th, and he'll be sorely missed in the middle. However, in 32 games, Donnie, Lively has averaged 9.1 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks per contest this season. Very instrumental in the NBA Finals last season as a rookie. But Daniel Gafford is going to start in Lively's place since the injury and continue to do so until he gets back. But, man, what a major, major loss there. That's going to hurt your team. And right now they're playing without both Lively and the big man himself, Doncic.
Yeah, Luka's been out for the last 13 games. They've gone 4-9 in those games. And he's probably going to miss up till close to the All-Star break, from what everybody's saying. They might be back February 2nd, maybe, if we're lucky. But this has been a really tough season for the Mavericks just because all the injuries. I mean, Luka's missed a lot of games. Kyrie's missed a lot of games. Lively's missed a lot of games. Exum hadn't even played a game yet this year. Dante Exum, which was a key backup player for the Mavericks last year. It seems like every game somebody else goes down. Jaden Hardy's out now. PJ Washington's missed a few games. Everybody's pretty much missed a few games, and it's just hard to get things rolling. The only guy that hasn't really got hurt is a guy that you were counting on to make a difference that you picked up in free agency. That's Thompson, that has really underperformed. I've not been impressed with him. He's just not the same player he was with Golden State. And especially during this time where Luka's been out, you expected him to step up his game and fill in a lot of scoring for you, but he has not done it, man. And at times he looks bad, and he can't get open. He's not hitting his three-point shots like he usually does. So that's been a disappointment, and mainly though the injuries. And I don't know if they are going to have enough time to make a run with Lively out now, you mentioned that Lively is huge. He's on the offense and defense, especially. He's one of your leaders on that team, especially on the defensive end. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline. Are they going to say, okay, Luka's hurt, Lively's out, we're not going to do anything, we'll just play it out, or are we going to sell, be a seller and get rid of somebody? I would like to see there's a rumor out there that you trade Spencer Dinwiddie and I think it was Dwight Powell, which gives you nothing, or Kleba, either one of those, for he's a player for Drummond for Philadelphia. Yeah. He's the backup center.
Yeah,
he could be a fill-in for, especially since Lively's out. He's a rebound machine. And if Luka gets back and you get healthy, maybe you can make a push late. Lively might be back for the playoffs. If you can just get in the playoffs, they would be a dangerous team come playoff time. It's just a matter of where they're going to be seated,
Yeah, and right now they're seated in the 7th position in the West. We'll see how it all matriculates real quickly. Dallas Stars last night, man, I watched the game last night, and they're so exciting, Donnie. I know you don't watch a lot of hockey, but, man, they're so exciting. Jason Robinson and Wyatt Johnson, guys, y'all want to write those names down. They're going to be huge stars for the Stars this season. Mark Schmidt still with the team doing some stuff. Jamie Benn still with the team doing some stuff. Watched them last night, and they fought to get her in. They lost. However, right now they are in 3rd place in the division. Well, actually kind of tied for 2nd in the Central Division. They're 47, 29, and 17, and with 59 points. That would definitely put them well in the playoffs. The last 10, they've been 6-4. They need a little bit more consistency, I think, on the winning side of it. The Edmonton Oilers in the Pacific Division really, really coming on. And you don't really want to look and see what's going on in these other divisions. You just want to be in the top 2 in your division. They're tied pretty much with the Wild. The Wild just has one less loss and 60 points. So they can get right back in it. And, of course, when you have Jake Ottinger as your goalie, you're going to win a lot of games this season. He's a stud. And they picked up some really good players. Look for the Stars to be possibly vying for that Stanley Cup again this season.
Yeah, and let me know when the playoffs start. I'll check them out.
You're not going to check them out when the playoffs start. Of course, last night the Lady Rattlers and the Rattlers took on Millsap. The Lady Rattlers, I know, got a win. I did not get the final on the boys' game. The Lady Rattlers are in 2nd place in their division, in their district. They've only lost one game, and that was to Comanche. And that's going to be rectified on the final district game, which we will have on the sports scene, I believe. It's going to be February the 4th when they travel, when Comanche comes to the Toller Gym to take on the Lady Rattlers. They could very, very easily win that district. And the Lady Rattlers now, their record is just really, really impressive. And they could definitely vie for I think their record now stands at 20-8 on the season, 9-1 in district play. That is phenomenal. And you look for them and they're a young team, Donnie, a really young team. And I think Cindy Amell and JC Jones are the leaders on that team. They've got them going in the right direction. Coach Halfman really has got these girls bought into team defense. Reminds me of Lita Andrews, the way she coaches that defense, Donnie. When they go full court press, man, they are just really, really hard to get by. And then when they drop into zone, they're just super tough. They're more physical. And it's just amazing to watch. If you don't get a chance, come out and watch them. If you do get a chance, come out and watch them. The boys are doing some good things, but they're very, very young. They only have 2 seniors on the squad, new coach, new system, and in a tough district. But they will be all back in action. You can catch them on the sports scene this Friday. We're going to be in Eastland, Texas for that contest. Tip-off for the girls is at 6:15. And with that, Donnie, we are there. I think it's time. Isn't it time?
Sure. I guess next show, I think we should do definitely start working on the draft. I've got a few NFL draft things that I've been working on as far as the Cowboys mainly, who they might go for. So
yeah, we're definitely going to talk draft talk next show. We'll be closer into that. We're also going to pick our Super Bowl winner because we'll have the Bills and the Commanders playing each other in the Super Bowl, Donnie.
And just for funsies, who do you think, or who do you want to be the Cowboys head coach? Realistically, I wanted Ben Johnson. I knew Ben Johnson wasn't going to pick the Cowboys just because Jerry Jones and all that. He's already gone to Chicago. That Caleb Williams is a happy guy because Ben Johnson is. I think he's going to be an excellent head coach.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely is. Definitely is. We've got two, count them, list. And our list is your list. So there's nothing that's going to be wrong on your list. So this is opportunity for everybody to kind of join in and chime in on what they think. Which one do you want to do first, Donnie?
We'll do the top 5 current NFL quarterbacks. We'll leave the fun one for the last.
Yeah, top 5 NFL quarterbacks, current NFL quarterbacks, top 5. And we're going to go 5, 2, 1. And are you ready? I'm going to start this thing off at number 5. I've got Jayden Daniels, quarterback of the Washington Commanders, Donnie. I think he's earned it. Rookie of the year this year, offensive rookie of the year. He is going to lead the Commanders to the Super Bowl his rookie season. I really, really believe in this guy, and he does not play like a rookie. He is so composed, way more mature at his age than a lot of quarterbacks that you see coming out of college. I've got Jayden Daniels as number 5.
That's a great number 5 because that's my number 5, Jayden Daniels. Who would thought that a rookie quarterback would be break the top 5 current NFL quarterbacks on our list? And you're right. He doesn't play kind of like Dak's rookie year, really. I mean, Dak's rookie year was his best year. He was outstanding, and maybe the teams will find something to like they did with Dak, where they don't make him as good as he is this rookie year. But he's been outstanding. I really like him. So yeah, my number 5 is Jayden Daniels. Well, and I'm hoping you're right about Washington beating Philadelphia. I would rather Washington make it, mainly because Jayden Daniels and Dan Quinn. I like those dudes. So give me Jayden Daniels, number 5.
All right, your number 4.
My number 4 is obviously he probably will win the MVP again, the third time he's done it, and he would have probably made it to the AFC Championship game if it wasn't for his tight end dropping a touchdown pass. Mark Andrews dropping that pass. I mean, oh my gosh. Anyway, number 4 has got to be Lamar Jackson. I know you don't like him. It's more of a personal thing for you. I think I look at the player. He's a good thrower of the ball, but he's such a threat running the ball that you got to watch that. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of people will probably have him at number 1 or number 2, but I have him at number 4.
Yeah, Donnie, this is going to surprise you. I'm going to show it to you here. I got to cover up my other 2. See if I can cover up my other 2 and
your other 3.
My other 3, yes, my other 3. Oops.
I can't read that.
It says Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Man, I can't stand the dude. I think he's just he would never play for David Wood's football team. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I would never pick him. But right now he's the number 4 quarterback in the league. Over 4,100 yards passing this season, 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. That was to me something that he wasn't doing before. Throwing the ball. I mean, he'd throw some, nice deep balls occasionally and stuff like that because everybody was boxing up for the run. He is a threat to run the ball on the new hybrid offenses and everything. It's the type of quarterback that you want, but he's not the guy I want because with all the diamonds in his grill and all the attitude and all of his post-game comments and everything, can't stand the guy. He's a joke, but he's my number 4.
Okay, Boomer. That's all right. The only thing about the knock on Lamar is he hasn't got it to that next level yet. And that's unfortunate for that guy. But you're number 3.
You know what? Before I get to number 3, I will tell you that if I was to draft a quarterback today and I had Lamar Jackson and these other guys, I would pick the other guys. I would pick Baker Mayfield. I would pick Jared Goff over
You're crazy.
these guys. I'd take
Well,
Darnold.
I would take Lamar and I'd kick your butt. Man,
No, I
you're
would
crazy,
take it
man.
because he's such a ugh.
Oh,
I can't stand sorry people, and he's a sorry person. Okay,
how's he
number
sorry?
3.
You don't know that.
Number 3. I'll listen to his post game comments. And
Oh,
stuff.
come on, man.
Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes as my number 3 quarterback in the league this year. Had a drop off this year, Donnie, and nobody can say he didn't. I think it has a lot to do with the talent around him. Also believe he has just been punished for a long, long time. You know, a lot of people say the refs, somebody breathed on Patrick Mahomes, let's throw a flag, and everything. But if you look at it, he has taken a pounding over the years, and they do want to keep him in the league. So, but I think Patrick did enough this year to where I could still evaluate him as the 3rd best quarterback in the league.
All right, my number 3 is going to surprise you because he might be your number 1. It'd be a lot of guys number 1, but I the 2 in front of him, I can't do it. I like this guy. He's still got to do it. He hadn't done it yet. He maybe have a chance this Sunday, but he's another guy that between Lamar and this guy will be the MVP of the league this year. But Josh Allen, he's my kind of quarterback. I'd love to have that dude on my team. He can throw the ball, and he's like Lamar. He can run it. He's if you're going to run it, if you're going to tackle him, you're going to pay the price. He's not scared of contact, but he also can read a defense, throw the ball down the field. He's everything you'd want in a quarterback and a football player. He's a football player, man.
Who is his number 1 receiver?
I don't watch enough Buffalo Bills football, so I'm not really sure.
Nobody knows who his number 1 receiver is. Yet he's put up all these yardage and he's done all this stuff because he's Josh Allen. Good pick there for number 3, Donnie. Okay. Who goes number 2? You? Yeah, you go first on number 2.
Yes. My number 2 is I think in a few years he's going to push old Tom Brady to the side, and he will be the GOAT. He will be the GOAT, the new GOAT in a few years. But the man from East Texas, the man with the professional baseball player is a daddy. He's a good dude. I like him. And obviously he's a Texas guy. So White House, Texas. That would be Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl 2-time and how many? 3-4 times Super Bowl champion. Gonna try a 3-peat this year. Come on, Patrick Mahomes, man.
Donnie's got Patrick Mahomes as number 2. My number 2 is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, I don't care what anybody says. You look at what team he plays on and what he does and how he does it. I've got Joe Burrow as my number 2 quarterback, Donnie. And I'm going to just tell you this. You put Patrick Mahomes over Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is the top. I'll go ahead and give you my number 1. Josh Allen is my top pick for quarterback this season. I got Joe Burrow at 2, Josh Allen at number 1, and he's done more and won more, and he's going to beat your Patrick Mahomes this coming weekend.
What? Wait, he's done more and won more. What are you saying?
He's done more this season.
Yeah. He hadn't won more than Kansas City's playing at home. They got the number 1 seed, so obviously can't.
Well, okay.
Mahomes
He might not have won more. He'll win the one that counts, and that's going to be this weekend. Who's your number 1?
My number 1, I think this guy, if he didn't have the worst defense all the time and the worst offensive line all the time, he would be already made it to a few Super Bowls. I think he's a technician. He's just like, he is unbelievable.
Freaking robot.
Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow is my number 1, and I don't even think it's close. I think the guy is just an absolute quarterback machine.
Donnie, you realize we picked the same guys, just different order.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went Josh Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, Jackson, and Daniels. Donnie went Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Daniels. You guys out there, y'all can chime in. Even after the podcast is done and over with, you guys can chime in anytime and let us know who you think your top 5 NFL current quarterbacks are. Hey, you know what? Nobody's list is wrong. We got it right, Donnie. We got the 5 that count all there on the board and everything, even though I would take Mayfield and Goff over that pathetic puke Lamar Jackson as a human being.
Come
I
on,
just can't
man.
have bad people on my team, Donnie. Just can't
You're-
have bad people. No bad people.
He's a good dude.
No,
You
he's
don't
not.
know.
He's a jerk.
Hey, speaking of good dudes, I just have to mention this before we get to our last list and the NFL and the college football. One thing I've noticed this year that, and I'm so it really makes me happy. It gives me hope. But both in the NFL and the college football, there seems like there's been a lot more of these young men celebrating our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ so many times, and it's so nice to see that in these times that these young men are giving glory to God and Jesus, that they know, you know, where it all comes from, and to recognize that. It just seems like this year more than previous years it's been going on, and I love it. That's just a side note.
You know, as long as they're not Episcopalian, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, don't be Episcopalian
Yeah.
bishop. That, oh my God, she probably hadn't even picked up a Bible and read it. She just
No,
and
she
that's-
hadn't.
that
Her
she's- no,
Her
she's not a-
girlfriend
she's
hadn't
not a-
picked up her girlfriend definitely hadn't picked up the Bible, Donnie. So you know,
she's not a bishop. She's a political hack.
activist.
That,
Yeah.
Oh man, that made me so mad.
Okay, here we go. We're going to get right to it. And you're going to start this one off, Donnie. We got the top 5 sitcoms of all time. You know, movie watching, TV watching, it is a sport. I'm going to start mine here in just a few minutes. I'm going to start watching The Walking Dead, Dead City. I'm going to watch it, binge watch it. I binge watched everything, Donnie. But you know, all of these new TV shows that are coming on and, you know, series and everything kind of got you out of sitcoms, you know. But sitcoms is what built America. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of mine, because I'm an old man, a lot of mine are old stuff. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to appreciate this list because I loved each and every one of these shows that I'm fixing to say. But go ahead with your number 5, which I'm going to laugh at. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you're gonna laugh at one of them, but not the other, because I got a tie for number 5. You know I do.
No.
My 5th place ties are, because I couldn't leave out one of the shows that we watched growing up all the time, and it just made me happy. It's just good, wholesome show, and it has one of the coolest guys, one of the guys that's in the Cool Man group, which I'm part of, by the way. I can tell you that list if you want to know it. But one of the guys that's in that group, the Fonz, Happy Days. I mean, Happy Days is tied at number 5 with the only animated show that I've got in there that I'll ever watch.
It's a cartoon.
No, this show, you got to watch it. It's hilarious. It makes me laugh. And it's set in Texas, by the way.
What is it?
In Arlen, Texas. But it's King of the Hill, man. I love that show. It's so funny. If you haven't watched King of the Hill, you need to give it a chance and just watch it.
I've never watched it.
You won't be laughing.
I don't watch cartoons anymore, Donnie.
No, if
I do, it's SpongeBob
well, there you go.
or Jimmy Neutron. I love me some Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, those are kid shows. This is not a. This is
It's
an
a cartoon.
adult. This is an adult animation show.
Okay, all right. My number 5. I got a tie, Donnie. I got a tie.
You can't do that. Only
I
I
got
can
a
do
tie at
that.
number 5. I do. I'm going to go with the greatness that was MASH. Now, Donnie, you weren't allowed to watch MASH when we were growing up because you were just a wee little young lad and everything. But I watched it, and it was so innovative at the time, and it held your captivation, and it was very topical because there were a lot of people that did serve in the Korean War, and there it touched on some issues that war was about and everything that a lot of people don't really take in consideration, and they should, because those veterans, that was a very, very bloody and hard war for them, and we appreciate their service. But MASH, man, it would crack me up all the time. Radar, Colonel Klinger, and all those guys, they were just hilarious. Of course, you want to give me MASH, but I also have Friends. And I have Friends on the list, Donnie, simply because they gave us the greatness that is Jennifer Aniston. Giggity.
Yeah, giggity for sure.
My number four.
My number four is Friends, actually, because that, I think they lasted about 10 years, and the characters on that show, they were hit them spot on. All of them played them so well. That's the thing about great shows, either sitcoms or drama shows like The Walking Dead or whatever you want to call it. It's the difference is when they're great, the people that play the character nails it, and they were made for that character. I really enjoy it. I still watch it all the time today. And it's been off the air for 20 years, and it's just a really, really good show. I like Friends.
And they gave us Jennifer Aniston, Donnie.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got number 4, Cheers. Sam Malone, and of course the great. Oh man, that show, and then that show spurned off a lot of split offs. Frasier was a regular, or was actually discovered doing that show, and of course Rhea Perlman, and just every coach. Oh my God, that guy Woody Harrelson. That's really where he got his start, was on that show.
Yep.
And so you just think of all the greatness that was on that show, and it was just hilarious. It was very nonsensical and just really, really a good show. I've got Cheers at number 4.
Yeah, again, another show that the characters made that. I mean, the people that played those roles just nailed all. I mean, it's all of them. Even going down to the coach, which the old man, he was just a small part of that show, but he played that role perfectly. But yeah, Cheers is my number 3, and
oh wow,
well, yeah, that's got to be in my top 5. I have it at number 3 because I just enjoyed watching it. Norm, you think about people that go into a place all the time that everybody knows you, they can call your name out. That's Norm,
Well, that's pretty cool.
You kind of refer to that. So yeah, number 3 is Cheers.
So I had Friends at number 5. You had them at 4. You had Cheers. I had Cheers at 4. You have them at 3. And at 3, I have one that you had at 5, Donnie, Happy Days. I mean, come on, man. That show was hilarious. And again, you talk about split offs, shows that were so innovative at the time that they created just a plethora of other shows. Laverne and Shirley came out of Happy Days. Joni Loves Chachi came out of Happy Days. You've got Lenny and Squiggy. They did some stuff outside of the Happy Days roles. And then, of course, you had, the Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy came out of Happy Days. First time Robin Williams ever performed was on Happy Days. And, just a ton load. And then, of course, you had Karate Kid came out of Happy Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat Morita. He was the wax on, wax off guy, And Mr. Miyagi, So you look at all this, all of the stuff that and Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley came out of Happy Days. You look at all the stuff that happened and just the culture. And Donnie, we didn't miss an episode as kids, man, not one. And our parents allowed us to watch it, even though some of the topics might have been a little bit racy at the time for us. Nowadays, it's not a big deal, but at the time, some of the scenes were a little bit racy. Some of the content, maybe a little bit racy. The Fonz was a womanizer and all that good stuff and everything, but it all got overlooked. Not a big deal and everything. It was just good, wholesome TV watching. Happy Days, my number 3.
Good pick. My number two is, and it's probably not in your list, but they lasted for about 9 years, I believe. And I don't know. I laugh when I watch it, and that's a big thing for me. If I laugh at a sitcom,
Yeah.
multiple times while I'm watching it, and I could watch the same show. I mean, I've watched a lot of the episodes over and over before. Um, and it's not like the greatest acting, but and there's no, it's a show about nothing, and they even say it.
Oh wow, yeah.
But Seinfeld, I mean, Seinfeld was just, it made me laugh so much all the time. Those characters were made for that role, and Seinfeld is not even an actor; he's a comedian, stand-up comedian, but he played that role really good, and all the other guys, that were in that with the sidekicks, and then what's her name, the Julia Dreyfus.
Louise Dreyfus, yes.
Yeah, she was in there. I mean, it was just even the small characters like the soup Nazi, the guy, no soup for you. It was just a great show. I love Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld was a great show. I did keep them off the list because I love these other ones so much more. But Seinfeld was something that I watched. Sometimes I just got tired head. Sometimes Jerry Seinfeld kind of got a little bit too much to me. And then they had a couple of other characters on there. The heavy set gentleman would get on my nerves every now and then. And so I wasn't as thrilled with them as much as I was Cheers and some of these other shows. I'm taking it back old school at number 2, Donnie, because my sister and I would watch this show and watch this show and watch this show. And even when we got older, we would watch this show. I'd go over to her house and it was on the TV and, just watching. I'm talking about Vita Vita Benjamin, I'm talking about some of the best comedic acting ever that you want to see. I'm talking about I Love Lucy, and I had to put it in there, Donnie. One of the all-time greatest sitcoms ever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you're that's a really good pick. I mean, it was in my list. I had wrote down a bunch of shows, and it didn't quite make mine. But I mean, I could next week I could have it in my top 5.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's funny though. It was only a 6 years.
Yeah,
that was on. Seems like it would have been longer. They must have been making shows left and right. But yeah, Lucy was an icon. There's been nobody like her. And yeah, we watched that all the time growing up. And it's funny to think about those shows were made way before us. I think it was in the 50s when that show was going on. But it was still showing in the 70s and 80s all the time.
Going into syndication, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1, Donnie, and I'm telling you, I've got to see this. I got to see where you're at on this. My number 1 is All in the Family. And this is a show that you could not do today because of all the soft, wimpy, woke people that are out in this world. All in the Family was not meant to be serious. It was a show about comedy. But it did bring a lot of the feelings and the undertones about what some people thought, and they were making fun of it when they were doing this. And you talk about actors molding in. Carol Connor was nothing like Archie Bunker. Nothing like Archie Bunker. If you ever read, there's a book on Carol O'Connor, and I wish people would read it because they would really, really, really see what kind of person he was. And he was nowhere like Archie Bunker, but Archie Bunker was so funny. And of course, it also brought us the Jeffersons and some other shows, the Sanford and Son, all split it off of All in the Family. And a lot of people say, "Oh, you like that racist show?" So let's see. So we had Sanford and Son, and we also had the
Jeffersons. The Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons that came off of it. I wonder how that could be considered racist, being able to elevate those shows. And at the time, there were no black sitcoms on TV. This was way before Cosby ever thought about being on TV.
Yeah, All in the Family. I mean, it was really more of them pointing out how this old man was, time has passed him, and he's, they weren't glorifying how he was, his character was, but it was a fun deal. You know, he ended up growing into the show. Kind of showed him becoming friends with people that he wouldn't be friends with before. You know,
Yeah,
and starting to see
and
his,
showing that it was rooted off of his former thoughts were rooted out of basically ignorance because he wasn't
Right.
exposed to it the other way.
and he learned he learned, you know, he was wrong in certain areas the way he thought, but it was all in fun. And just like most comedians nowadays, that's why the comedians hate the whole woke thing, because they're scared to say certain things and on stage, and it's stuff that they're just being fun and making fun, and you can laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at certain, you know, stereotypes and all that stuff, because it's a comedy, you know.
And I can't go to a comedy show, Donnie, because I'm afraid they're going to be talking about nasty stuff, because these comedians, they got nothing else to do but the shock comedian, and the shock comedians are going to talk about stuff that's, you know, that's vulgar and out of context and everything, because they can't talk about things that are controversial or different things to poke fun of, because they'll be considered harassing somebody or not politically correct.
I'll tell you what, if you want to see a good comedian, is I think it's Stephen Hawkins? Hawkins is his last name. He's a Christian comedian. That guy is hilarious, man. And I've been to several of his shows, and a lot of people think, oh, Christian comedian, he can't be funny, but that dude's hilarious, man. And it was kind of like Bill Cosby back in the day. Obviously took a dark turn, but back in the day when he was a comedian, Cosby was a clean comedian, and he was funny, man. The things that he did was, you know, where you could actually let your kids watch and everybody would laugh. And you can do shows like that. That's what Hawkins proves, that he's a Christian comedian. You can still be funny and be clean and be a Christian at that. You know, it's a hard concept. A lot of people don't think that that's something that can be done, but obviously you can do that. You don't have to have all the nastiness.
No. All right. So you're number one, Donnie.
Oh, my number one, it's not even in your top 5. That's crazy. But this show, and it's just my humor, I guess. I just think it's hilarious. The characters on it, again, are perfect. And it lasted, I think, 8 years. The Office. The Office is hilarious TV. I'm telling you.
I've never watched an episode.
See, you need to watch it. Give it a chance. It's
I'm gonna have to, because Nick swears by it. Nick says it's the funniest. It was the funniest thing on TV, and he loved it and everything. I guess I was working too much whenever it was in its heyday. I've tried watching it a time or two, and it was just so weird that I couldn't get into it. You know, just walking by the TV, and I was like, that don't make no daggum sense. I thought I was watching watered down Anchorman. You know, you ever watch Anchorman?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. So Donnie's 5: The Office, Frasier, Cheers, Friends, and Happy Days / King of the Hill. Mine, All in the Family, I Love Lucy, Happy Days, Cheers, MASH, and Friends. And with that, I will tell you that I'm old.
Yep, you're older than me. Yeah, you could go with old school, but I wanted to kind of blend in. And then I don't have a whole lot of current shows because most of them aren't very good. Hey, you know, speaking of, you mentioned Walking Dead a while ago. I just watched. I didn't even know it was out. It's on Netflix now, but Walking Dead, the ones that live.
Yeah, the ones that live. Yeah, I watched all of them.
Yeah, with Rick and
Rick. Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
Yeah,
that's good. I liked it, and it was a happy ending. I liked it. Now we're watching Daryl, the one with Daryl.
I've already watched a lot of it. It's a little slow at first. It does pick up. I'll just let you know that. I'm looking forward to Dead City. I missed the first season. I'm going to watch it, and then I'm going to watch season 2, which is coming out this month. So looking forward to that too as well. So, all right, now I told everybody I'm going to have an outro video that we're fixing to play. I expect Donnie, you to stick around and watch the video. Anybody that's watching, I want you to stick around and watch it, or if you rewatch the show, watch this video, because again, the sports scene has evolved. It started way, way, way back when we were wee little lads with a radio and a baseball bat, and it's morphed on to a lot of fun things, Donnie. We've done games all over the state of Texas. We've done numerous playoff games, not just football, but basketball, baseball. And we've also, followed Granbury and Toller sports. But we've been talking sports since we were wee little lads, and we're going to continue doing it until at least I croak, which, could be any day now.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and you're right. We actually been doing it before we started doing it on the radio as young kids. And I remember I got to shout out one of my friends, Chris White. I don't know if he's listening, but my buddy Chris White was I grew up with in Granbury Elementary and in the junior high, and it seemed like me and him had a show all the time. Anybody that wanted to know what's going on in the sports world, they'd come find me and Chris.
Yeah.
But that's where it kind of started for me. Obviously, even before that, with you and Doug, listen. One thing that helped us, I think, was listening to sports on the radio, because every sport wasn't on TV like it is now.
Keep in mind a lot. Yeah.
You learn a lot more. You see, you visualize things a lot differently listening to on the radio. That's when I first thought, this would be a cool thing to do as a grown up. If my dream was to be a coach and teacher, I coached my kids, and that fulfilled that. But my other thing was to be a broadcaster, because I just loved listening to, especially baseball, Mark Holtz and Eric Nadell back in the day on the radio. I thought, man, that's pretty cool, because you don't have to see them. So I thought, well, I got a face for radio.
You got the face for radio.
Even though I'm the eye candy of our show, that's all right.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, I expect everybody to stick around for it. I want to appreciate Donnie for coming on, and we went a little long tonight on the sports scene, but we had a lot of topics to cover. Maybe we'll start doing this every 2 weeks to every 3 weeks or something of that nature, so we can pick it up and not have a lot of ground to cover. Next sports scene, we will be talking about the draft. We'll recap what happened on the AFC and NFC championship and get you set for the Super Bowl, which will be between the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders. And we'll give you, Donnie wants to do what was it, Donnie, that you said you wanted to do? You wanted to do
more of an NFL draft for like the Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into the NFL draft for the Cowboys and what we see there. If we have any other updating news, we'll definitely pass that along. I want to say also Friday night, you need to check it out. Friday Night Hoops, yours truly. I'll be in the big gym in Eastland, Texas for the game between your Toller Lady Rattlers and Rattlers as they take on another district opponent. And the Lady Rattlers look to stay perfect all the way in to that final showdown February the 4th against the Comanche Lady Indians. Donnie, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Everybody stay tuned for this important outro video. And until next time we meet, God bless and go Rattlers.